Today we're going to go over scenes and overlays. So for right now, let's get rid of a couple things here. Get rid of this. We'll get rid of this. And we're going to get rid of this. So we're going to focus on scenes and overlays. So right now we have a default scene. I normally like to just leave one blank just in case. So we'll go ahead and open a new one. You have the plus, you have the copy, you create a folder. We're going to keep this very basic. So we're going to open a new scene. I'm going to name it main. Just, you can name it anything you want. Now, depending on what you want to add a camera, you want to add a video, you want to add your screen share. You could do it from here where you have your camera. So if I click on this, it'll bring up a camera. This is actually my laptop that I'm using, my MacBook Pro. So this is the built-in camera. And these are other cameras that I have accessible. So you could do this off of here, and you could just click on here to pick what camera you want to use. So let's say, for example, I want to use this camera. That would be my main scene. That would be my main camera. Now, you could always just add another one. So we could hit the plus, and let's just put cam 2. And then you would go here again, and you could pick a different camera. Let's say this one, which is just pointing at my screens right now. And you switch from camera to camera. All right. And then you have your overlays over here. You could add a picture. You could add an automated picture or video. You could add a screen. You could add some text, timer, widget, camera, folder. But just to show how this plays together, we're going to do text. And let's just say my name. So now that's just going to add my name. And you have other options here. How you want it to come in. Is it going to be a fixed position? Is it going to fly in? You could customize your corners here, margins, border. Right now, we're just going to do this just to see what it looks like. And that's what we have. You can move it around. You can resize it. Double click on it. It brings you back. It has the background. You can remove the background. Now it's just the name. So I'm pretty sure you've heard of lower thirds. You could create your own. So let's try to create ours right here. So we got the name. Let's go ahead and put the background again. Click on here. Here's all your colored pencils. Let's change the color of the background a little bit. I believe that's the background. I always get the background confused with the text. So that's the background with white text. Let's straighten these out. And that should be good for right now. So now we have this here. And you could customize this. You could set this up any which way you want. I'm just keeping things super basic right now. So you could enlarge it and put it above the record. And that's pretty much that. Now, personally, I don't like doing my cameras and stuff this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear this out. So I'm going to come here. I believe it's source. I'm going to put blank. So that's the camera source. And what I'm going to do is over here in overlays, I'm going to click on the camera. I prefer to do all this in overlays. So we can bring this up, resize it to what you want. If you want to center it, just looking for the grid line. There it is. And if you notice, the name is now hiding behind. The order that you put the overlays matter. So all you have to do is move the name above the camera, and there it is. I can line this up right there, shrink it down. All right, a little bit better. Again, we're not being fancy here. Now you have the pencil. Click on the pencil. Now I can pick what camera I want. Shows you all your cameras available. And we'll go with this one. Now what I'm going to do here is, again, what I prefer. So we're going to get rid of this one. Once I have the first scene, and if I want all my scenes to look similar, I just duplicate them. So let's say we want to get a little bit more fancy here. I like the round edges. Let's do a border. So I'm going to move this over. I think I try to do about 10. That's a personal preference. Then you click on here for your color. So let's go, I like the gray. And if you want it thicker, you just got to keep moving this over. It's going to shrink your image a little bit, and it's going to make your border thicker. All right. Then you might want to realign it depending on where you want it. There we go. And you could get a lot fancier with this. You don't have to make it this basic. Right now, you could change it to different types of text. You could do something like this. And let's say I want to do my channel name. And let's say I want the channel name to be a different color. All right, you highlight that. And I believe that brings the pencils back. So this is highlighted. And let's say I want that, I believe I picked it correctly, green. There we go. And again, these are probably not the greatest colors. This is just an example. If you want to change the background color, let's go click on background here. Let's go with white. But then that's going to mess with this. We'll highlight this. That's the background. That's the text. Okay. And let's say we want to go with the purple. I think I did that right. Yep. There we go. So you could make changes. You could mess around. Again, we're just doing basic stuff. Here's one of the tricks that I like. So right here, I have my main camera the way I want it. Everything, let's say, looks good. Rather than doing a plus and starting from scratch, I'm just going to hit the duplicate, give it a different name. Why did I do the @ symbol? I don't know. And enter. And now you click on the pencil, and you could pick any other camera you want. Let's see which one this one was. That's the drop down. Let's go with this one, where it's showing the screens. So now I have those two. Did I have some in default? So I could go from default. Now let me show you something from here. Let's say I wanted to go in default and I wanted to put a picture. I'll come to the overlays and bring up a picture. I don't think I have any pictures on this particular computer, so I can't show you. That'll be, I guess, a different day. But you could go into something like Canva, create a picture, bring that up, put that as your default with a thing. You know what? We could do this. If we come over here to overlays, you got your clock here, your timer. Let's do a timer. And right now I want to do a 10-minute timer. And these numbers will jump around. You notice how it went up. It depends on the ones you use. And I think fixed width is what you want if you don't want to do that. So we could do fixed width. Let's see what this one looks like. I don't like that one. Don't care for that one. We'll go with this one for right now. Let's say I don't want the background. We can take that off. All right, that looks okay. I'm gonna enter that. Make it a little bit bigger and move it around. So you can set this up like your timer. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you a little trick here. Go to next scene. So when the timer's done, it's gonna go to the next scene. Let's change this to 10. That way it does it in 10 seconds. And that should be cool. And then you could have a picture, you could have whatever with the timer. And then you have your countdown timer. I know I'm going a little quick. I don't script, I just do. So once that's done, it's going to go to the next scene, which is this one. And then you could either use your mouse, a Stream Deck, whatever you have, jump between scenes. Now, let's say I want to duplicate this again, but I want to do something that's more of my screen. What I personally do, because I want to try to size things up, I would duplicate it. And let's say I do a different name. And then I'm going to come over to overlays and I'm going to do a screen share. And the only reason I'm doing this is to try to measure it up and line it up. So I'll come over here, try to line it up the best I can. And then I'll go ahead and enlarge it. And I think I had pulled in the sides. No. So the shape ain't perfect. But you could do something like this to try to line it up. Let me see. Aspect ratio. That's probably why. Let's match the aspect ratio. That way we can line this up better. There you go. And if you do it perfectly centered, that should help too. And now this is a screen share. And let's go ahead, click on the pencil, and it's saying entire screen. Let's say we don't want to do the entire screen. You could use current application. Right now I'm using Ecamm. I'm going to do Ecamm, and I'm going to do Ecamm overlays. That way it's focusing on the overlays. Now I could come back to the overlays here, and then let's say I don't want the camera there, or let's say I do. You have to put them in a certain order, but at the same time, this is hiding behind. So what I could do is I click on the eyeball. It's going to hide the screen share to bring the camera back. Now I could take this, if I want to still use it, and reshape it. These are just examples. It's not a full tutorial. Just giving you guys examples, some ideas. And we could do a circle. We could resize it. Move it over to the end over here. And let's change that to, I want to say this camera. Yep. And now I'm here. So now if you click on the eyeball, it brings the other one back. Now you notice I'm being covered. The order matters. So just move the camera to the top. Now I'm on the outer side if that's what you want. Then I could bring the text, move it up one, and now it's there. You might not want it there. These are just examples. So now you could see here that it's showing the overlays better. And you can see what I have. And then you could do this as a screen share. I normally don't use these up here. You could, but I normally don't. And it's giving me a warning for the audio. I don't think I'm feeding in the audio, but just in case. The warning was just bothering me. And yeah, so that's how you could bring in some cameras and stuff. So again, if you come here, you can see all the cameras that are available. You could add certain ones to the switcher if that's the route you want to go. I didn't want to bother with these other cameras. Yeah, so that is that. Now, let's say we want to create another scene and you want to duplicate, but you don't want to duplicate this one. You want to duplicate this one. You have to activate the one you want to duplicate. Now, the one I'm going to duplicate, I'm going to come down here because the one I want to duplicate is probably going to be this one. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy it because I like the way it looks, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to put movie. Well, let's move. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this right here with a movie. Now, if you notice, you have this one here. This is where you could bring in like an animation or a movie. Now, because this is a Mac, because of the software, you could just drag and drop. So I've been clicking on some of this stuff, but for a picture, for a movie, that kind of stuff, I would prefer to just do a drag and drop. So what I'm going to do is I got a couple recordings. This is my laptop. I don't have a lot on here. So I'm going to go here, show recordings. And let's try this one here. So let's move this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to try to throw it in there. Give me a second here. Because that just went off on my laptop. And again, we have to clean this up a little bit because this thing is in the way. So you could just hit the X, and you notice how it keeps disappearing? You could just come over here. So that's the screen share. We'll knock the eyeball out there, and there you go. So now it's playing a video behind. The reason you're not getting audio is because this is just a remote session. If you did get audio, I muted it because that's just going to aggravate. And let's say I wanted this off the screen, you could just hit the X. So I'm playing a video behind. If there was any audio, it would be playing. But again, the way I'm doing this for the demonstration kind of doesn't work that way. And it automatically went to doing like a full screen video. I thought it would have given me the option, but again, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and pause this. So you could bring in videos, you could bring in things in different ways. Let's go here to source. I'm going to hit blank, and then got rid of that. So let's say I go this route, and I actually click on it. And where would the videos be? Desktop, applications, recent. So here's the recent ones. Let's say I do this, and I do, not that one, this one. I do open. It's going to ask me, do I want to add it as a overlay? Do I want to play full screen? Full screen will give you audio, overlay won't, but for this one I want to do overlay because I want to be able to control it. I don't know why the drag and drop didn't work. Maybe drag and drop automatically does video for videos. And you can resize it. And remember, I'm not an expert. I just use the software just like everybody else. Or if you don't use the software, you use OBS or something else. Again, this is not a main training. This is just to give you guys some ideas. And now it's playing the video. Now let's say I don't care for me being in here twice. I could just take this guy, put him over there. You have to push the buttons. You have to play with it. Again, my videos are going to be basic. They're going to try to give you some general ideas. They're not going to be a full tutorial, full training. If you're looking for training with Ecamm or with anything, there's other channels. There are people that provide training. I could, provide some links if that's what you're looking for. I'm just trying to give you guys some general ideas. So that's going to be it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.